Hi guys, welcome to another review video. And just as I promised at that time, I was going to bring you a review of a soundbar that I feel the price is so much affordable and the sound quality is just top notch without compromising on anything. So today we have with us Sony HT-S20R. This is a 600 watts Sony soundbar, and you can see we have the bar, two small surround speakers, we have the subwoofer right over there. There are two particular things that I really love about this soundbar, apart from the price tag. And the first thing is we have the surround speakers right over there. If you're a fan of music, surround music especially, you know what those surround speakers does to a sound system, apart from just having the bars that has a digital surround capability on it. The second thing, I say it was not the financial part, but I lied. This is the financial part. We've reviewed soundbars from JBL, Sony, Samsung, LG, and yet in terms of what rating, because this is 600 watts, I can tell you for a fact that this is the cheapest. From LG 600 watts, Samsung 600 watts, JBL 600 watts, you get a cheaper one for Sony, and the sound quality is top notch. This is actually the cheapest one because currently a new Sony 600 watt soundbar goes for only 260 USD, which is so cheap compared to the other soundbars that I've reviewed. For Samsung, you find the price is quite higher for 600 watts. LG, the price is quite higher than this. It's almost double the price you get for this Sony soundbar. So I think we must give Sony a due or respect where respect is due, because they produce products that are of high quality and the price tag is not that high compared to what we've seen on the others. So let's get straight to this review. I know you're anxious to see what this soundbar, the Sony soundbar, is capable and what it holds. So let me just get the camera closer. Yeah, so there you go. We have the bar, subwoofer, we have the remote right over there, we have this is the subwoofer, sorry, then the bar, then the two surround speakers. So this is how the subwoofer actually looks like. We have the breathing hole, and remember it's front breather, yeah, because on other subwoofers, especially JBL and Samsung, they normally have a breather on the back side. But for Sony, they've maintained having it on the front. I don't know why, maybe it's something to do with copyright something or just sound engineering, but if you know about that, let us know in the comment section. This is the subwoofer. It's not that big, the driver. It's close to 6 inch, 5 point something inches. Yeah. Then we have USB port right over here. On top here we have the control knobs, just as common in all Sony soundbars, most of them. We have the control right here on the subwoofer because the motherboard is actually enclosed here on the subwoofer too. So we have the power button, then we have the input button, Bluetooth icon, volume up and volume down. So that means even without the remote, you can do most of the configurations right here on the soundbar, because you can change the input mode, you can adjust to Bluetooth mode, you can adjust volume and the rest. Then this is how the remote looks like. The remote is also blessed with functionalities. Right on top here we have cinema mode, music mode, standard mode, auto mode. I'll test all these sound modes so that you feel the difference. And then we have the volume up and down icon, subwoofer control, which is so important on the remote. So you can control the subwoofer levels right here on the remote. And then we have the mute icon, we have this dim just to adjust the LED. We have an LED right over here, I'll show you. And then this is just some other controls, play, pause, forward, next. This is how the remote is. The remote is very compact, strong, and it doesn't break easily. Yeah. Then it uses small AAA batteries, right over there. This is the bar. As usual, most of these bars are usually 1 meter. So we have a 1 meter bar right over here. Then it has 3 speakers or drivers on it. We have one right over here, you can see the driver. Then there's another one in the center right over there. And then we have another one right over there. So we have a total of 3 speakers, and then we have 2 surround speakers. Very important. They're not stuck there, just place them there strategically. So you can place them at different sitting positions in your house. Apart from just having the bar right in front of you, just underneath the screen, or where you've mounted your TV or on the TV stand, You can drive these bars to either maybe top positions of your room or just close to where you're sitting at the back of your seats. So, and then they'll bring out that crispy or clear, or they bring closer the sound coming from the soundbar closer to you, so that you don't you feel as if you're in the atmosphere of what you're watching. If you're listening to your podcast, if you're watching a movie, you feel as if you're within that environment completely. So that's the advantage of having these surround speakers. And they're so portable. The body design is premium, compact. You have carbon here that is so strong. You have the Sony logos right everywhere. It's important for branding. Then right on top here you can see it's 5.1 channel, 600 watts. It has Bluetooth. You have HDMI cable compatibility. Nothing much right over here. Yeah. So that is how it looks like. And right at the back of it, we have some other interesting factors. Remember, one thing that maybe some of us don't love with Sony is that the soundbars are not usually wireless. You see, for the other brands like maybe Samsung, JBL, you find that they have, or even LG, they have wireless soundbars. And what that wireless means, it means you have the bar connecting to the power on its own, and then the subwoofer connecting to the power on its own. But for Sony, it's disadvantageous because you'll have to connect cables right from the soundbar to the subwoofer, and that's what we have right at the back of it here. I don't know if it's be visible, but I hope it will. Now this is the back of the subwoofer. We have ventilation hole right here because the motherboard is right in here. Let me just flip it again because I want to see what's in here, and it's important. Yeah, so this is the ventilation hole. Then right over here we have the inputs. We have analog in. This is the aux port, aux cable, the jack pin one. Then we have HDMI out right here, and it still supports TV HDMI out, so you can connect this subwoofer to your television so that you get to listen to the sound coming from the TV through this soundbar using the HDMI ARC. And remember, if you connect the HDMI here on the HDMI ARC, connect it to your TV on the same port that it's written HDMI ARC for that functionality to work. Otherwise, if you connect it to your TV to a port that's not written ARC, it won't work. And then right over here we have optical port. This is for optical. This is also audio functionality. If your TV has an optical port, you can also connect it using the optical cable so that you get to listen to sound using the optical line. And something to clarify here on connecting your soundbar to your television, I did a video on that. If you're having issues, just go to the channel, look for that video, and then you watch how to connect your soundbar to your television. It's pretty easy, and the sound coming from the HDMI connection, it's so accurate. There's no lag. The sound quality is just what you'll expect the sound to sound for that particular music or movie that you're listening to. So HDMI ARC, it's usually good, and then optical, and then Bluetooth follows. And then right over here we have the connections. So you see here, let me just zoom in, the speakers. We have front speakers. It's easier to connect. You just color code. You match these codes, yeah, the colors with what we have here. So if it's red, you insert it on red. If it's white, insert it on red, on white, green, green, blue, blue, right over there, so that you connect all these speakers. And you see this wire stick just from the soundbar, and each and every wire here, it's from each and every speaker that we have on the bar, the 3 speakers. So one speaker, another one, all of them have the separate wires connecting to the soundbar. And then for the surround, again we have the surround, then you see the wires going into the soundbar right over there. The power consumption of the soundbar is not that much because we have a total cumulative power consumption of 600 watts, and this may be why Sony sometimes, I don't know, it messes up with the power, or yeah, because what Sony does, they always try to balance the 600 watts to each and every speaker we have here equally. So you find 600 watts, maybe here you have 140, the surround another 140, so that's to make cumulatively 160. They don't balance, maybe let's give the bass a higher wattage than the surrounds lower wattage, or higher wattage on the surround and the center speakers and then lower on the subwoofer. They always balance it equally, and I think that one has a downside because if you add the volume, then you find that the balancing of the sound, maybe the mids sometimes overpower the subwoofer because they sound louder than the subwoofer. So you have to at least use some adjustments so that you get the right listening experience for you. And right over here we have the power port right over here. So you only have a single plug for this soundbar. Yeah, this is the single power plug. Then after that you connect the others through the soundbar right over here. The soundbar is waterproof on the sides, you can see. The finishing is perfect, but now, as usual, as in all soundbars, they normally forget to cover this back part, and it's usually dangerous because once this soundbar gets to water, then it will absorb so much water and it will destroy the wooden part of this soundbar, which is not a good idea. For repairs, definitely we have these screws over here to remove for repairs, and then on the bar itself we have these slots here for mounting. In case you need to mount the bar, then you can use these slots right over there. And underneath it we have these special rubbers. They're very small. Yeah, you might assume them, but they're crucial because they help the bar. If you place it on a table, they help the bar to gain proper grip on the table so that it doesn't slide off the TV stand where we placed it easily. That's why we have those rubbers underneath. So they're very important for the bar. Now let's put this bar to test. We listen to how it sounds. We'll reduce the sub so that you listen to how the mid on the on sound, and then we test it on the table. We listen to how the subwoofer sounds when it's on the table on a TV stand, assuming this is our TV stand, and then you remove it to that position, you place it somewhere in a corner, then you also test it. But remember, it's going to be challenging because you have to carry the whole thing and place it somewhere because it's wired. Yeah, it would have been wireless, it would have been much easier, but now it's wired. But we have to do the test because that is what this child is all about. You have to do a genuine test of this particular soundbar so that you don't get to waste your money. If you go for it, you go for it because you love it and not because I said something about it that is good and maybe there are some things about it that you don't love but you decided to compromise. So let's do sound tests. So in our first session we are going to do sound test without the subwoofer. So I've reduced the subwoofer level to 0, you can see. Now let's perform a sound test to see how clear the mids sound and how perfect will it be without the subwoofer. So let me just turn it on. Let's do the test with the subwoofer connected. Let's see the difference. Or with the subwoofer full volume. So let me just adjust the volume of the subwoofer right over there. You can see. So it's 1, 2, 3. The maximum subwoofer level is normally 12. Sorry, see, 12. So we have the subwoofer at its maximum. So let's do the test with the subwoofer connected. You're very anxious to reduce the volume a bit for start. Yeah. So the volume is a bit slow. Let me just start the volume. See? Remember? Guys, let me know what you think about this Sony soundbar. I think I was not wrong at the beginning, because you've clearly listened to how it sounds, how clear it is, how deep the bass is. Unfortunately, I'm not going to place the subwoofer down from this because it's on top of the stand and it's still performing well. So if you want to place it somewhere down, it's up to you. But I think this Sony soundbar really ticked all the boxes you would want. Price tag, good. Sound quality, good. Surround, good. Anything else, it's up to you. Maybe for the wires, because it's wired, you can compromise on that for a good quality and to get value for your money. See you on the next one. If you really enjoyed this review and if you really love this review, let me know in the comment section what you think about this particular Sony HT-S20R 600 watts model. What are your thoughts on this particular Sony soundbar? Let's meet on the next one, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this account if you're new to this one, because the next review of soundbar is going to be totally worth it and I don't think you'll have to miss out. See you next time. Watch out.